in the heart of Lincoln, America.
I say, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Cleary.
Not only are we on 93.7 The Ticket, not only are we on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, we're also now on the BoobTube. You can watch us on television, 951, channel 951, if you're an have Allo Cables package. So we're glad to make it. We finally made it there. As the Ticket water cooler. Did you ever had a goal to be on TV, Rico? Have you ever been on TV before?
Have I been on TV? I don't think I have. I was on, we did this TV newscast thing in college back in Kearney for a semester, but I don't know if it was just something we recorded for YouTube or if it actually went on some type of TV channel. I don't think it did. So no, I don't think I have. I've had highlights on TV, but I haven't been on live TV before.
Yeah, talking.
I've never been on television before.
There you go. It's actually funny because the only time that I was going to be on national TV was with Jake Sorensen. Actually, we did the BTN Student U back in the day when we were in college. We did the Nebraska Omaha game. And so they were going to replay. They weren't going to do it live, but they were going to put the replay on. I was going to have my family come over and
watch it
and see how good they thought I did as a commentator. I can't remember if I was play-by-play
What sport
or
was
color.
it?
This was basketball.
Okay.
And then that day or morning, I can't remember which it was, the news broke that I can't even remember which team it was now. Either Rutgers or Maryland was joining the Big Ten, and therefore Big Ten shelved of the plans to replay the Nebraska-Omaha Student U game.
They're like, nope, this is important.
And decided to take over. So I never got my national TV moment.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
But now you're on TV.
You're on TV.
We're on Allo TV. What channel is it again?
951.
951.
Yeah.
If you're an Allo Cable subscriber, and if you're not an Allo Cable subscriber, subscribe to Allo Cable.
That's right.
Get yourself on TV. Well, get us on TV. On TV.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, we might be joking a little bit, but obviously this station just continues to grow. We try to find more ways for you guys to plug in and watch us. It's kind of the Husker hub. I like to kind of feel of Lincoln as we're bringing in current athletes, former athletes, and ourselves, myself and Rico. Just in general, this thing continues to grow, continues to expand. I can't wait to see. Heck, what it is, and I don't know what it's going to look like in 3 months. We're going to move downtown pretty soon, but 5 years from now, I mean, it's hard to imagine, but we continue to grow. Very proud of ourselves.
We're not going to be a radio station. We're going to be a TV station.
Well, we might. I mean, that's part of it. We're now also a TV station.
We're all over the place.
Yes,
and I love it.
Yes, so we're working on our TikToks. We'll get that up and running pretty well.
You still need to do a TikTok dance.
I know, but I went home and practiced. I can't.
That's the point.
I know. The whole point is that you're bad at it.
It's not supposed to be good. Bach still needs to do a TikTok dance. Everybody needs to hold him accountable.
TikTok dances sound kind of difficult. They don't sound difficult. Then when you go try them, the kids can do them.
You're like, oh, the youths can do it. I can do it too.
I could probably do it.
Speaking of the youths, apparently the youths want to get rid of the sellout streak still.
I did see that, and you're part of the anti-sellout streak, aren't you?
Okay. First off,
you're part of the youth.
I'm not anti-sellout streak, all right? I don't want to get rid of it. I just want people to acknowledge that it hasn't been real for quite some time.
What do you? It depends on how you define real.
The tickets.
Yes.
The tickets have been sold to one or two people. That's not a
donors.
It's they are sold. I guess you could call it a sellout, but it's not a sellout streak because it was before in the 70s, 80s, 90s,
it has been
early
more
2000s,
legitimate previously.
It was a sellout strike. People were buying the tickets and showing up to the stadium, filling the butts and seats with tickets, and it was legitimate.
It's not capacity streak.
And then there was streak. Yes, I know it is, but even then, then you had but that's part of it. But that's part of the allure that Nebraska fans love about the sellout streak is that, oh, look, we sold out another game. But in part of the sellout is having the stadium full, the sea of red. That's what everybody is excited about. You can't have sellout streak if one of your games, and it hasn't looked like this. So I'm not, coming at that. But you can't have a sellout streak and still claim that it's a sellout if your stadium looks like Rutgers when it was sold out.
Yes.
Because they claim it as a sellout, and it technically was.
It was a sellout.
But if that ever happened here, would you still consider that as part of the streak? It technically would be because it's part of the sellout. But there have been times where it hasn't been that bad, but there have been a ton of empty seats. And you could kind of tell sometimes from the television broadcast. So I'm not saying that it needs to die. I don't want it to die. It is cool. It's amazing. It is a tribute.
It's all we have left, really.
It is a tribute to Nebraska fans sticking with this program through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad. It's something that's fantastic for that. But I just want people to acknowledge the fact that, hey, we could do better.
Well, and I think within the state and, with the publicity that it's gotten, I guess, is the fake sellout streak type of idea. People know that. But do we need, like, if a fan comes in from Maryland, or do you need to sit them down and explain,
no,
hey, that sellout streak, it should have an asterisk by it?
You don't need an asterisk. No. I just want people to acknowledge. I want people to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's been acknowledged.
And the thing is, and this is what people dislike about me.
Yes.
The thing is, if it did end, I don't care.
You don't care.
Like, it's fine.
See, that's what some people would like to, and I'm not putting you in this category, but get rid of the history, move forward with the program. That's the only way that you can, get it back, is the history is at some point weighing you down.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Silly.
History is very important.
Yes.
The history of Nebraska football, the history of this university is very important, and you need to use it to move. You need to use that and also move forward into the future. You can't let the history weigh you down, but you need to use it as a springboard to go into the future. That's what it is. I don't like, but it's important for some people, and I totally get that. But if the sellout streak ended at some point, at some ungodly number that's probably never going to be touched, probably never going to be touched now.
Right.
If it ended at some ungodly number that's going to be untouched, if it ends at 400, I think it's fine. Like, it'll be fine. You still have the number up on the stadium, in Memorial Stadium.
Part of going to Memorial Stadium, part of going to the game is waiting for them to announce the attendance, put another number down, and celebrate because you're part of history.
Why don't you end it, start a new one, and try to beat it? Why don't we do that?
That's a long time.
See how dedicated you really are.
Yeah.
Are people question? Are people only going to the game during this bad stretch to continue the sellout streak?
Say that again.
Are some people, not everybody, are some people only going to the game, buying tickets, going to the game to continue the sellout streak, not to actually go and enjoy football?
I mean, some donors buy some tickets, if that's what you're saying, but I don't think there are too many people.
There's some people that are so dedicated to the sellout streak that they're like, you know what? Yeah. I'll buy a ticket.
I got to do it. It's up to me. It's not like you're the swing vote. You don't feel like
I'll buy a $5
you're the
ticket.
only one that can save it.
But what if there's one?
Well, then I would.
What if it was just one?
Yeah, then I would.
They're just like, we're one ticket away, and everybody's like, somebody else. If everybody said somebody else will buy it, and then nobody buys it,
then a donor would buy it. That's what we've learned. We don't have to worry about it too much. And for what it's worth, again, I thought that they did a great job. Having a potential problem of not having the sellout, what was that, 2 years ago now, and swinging that into the red carpet experience to make it something better for the children of Lincoln. What's better than that?
That's cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
That.
I absolutely loved it, and it preserved your sellout streak. Helped do that. So I think there are things that can be done. I think because of programs like that, it's university openly acknowledging, yes, the sellout streak does not mean that organically every seat has been sold, because they've had to do some things, and a lot of that has been the struggling football program. When we talk about how dedicated Nebraska fans are, and we talk about how walking through these gates are the greatest fans of college football, I always say, yeah, that's amazing, but if you didn't have Tom Osborne, I don't know if that would be the case, right? Because Tom Osborne kept you relevant, kept you interesting for 25 years, a large majority of that sellout streak. And of course, when he left,
even though he was almost run out of town.
Well, at times, yes. But when he left, obviously, he left the program in a great spot as far as tradition and interest and all that. So, there's I think that Nebraska fans are great, and they do. I mean, they show up to a lot of different, really anything where Nebraska is winning. But that's the key. It's not fair weather fans or anything like that. That's just try to sell an event with a bad product. It's hard. It's hard to do. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason people don't want to go to it. So. I think a big part of this sellout streak again, not just a reflection on Nebraska's fans, but how consistently good the program has been for that long. And then, of course, these last couple years, 7 years, 8 years now, that's not the case. And so they've had to kind of go outside the box to preserve the sellout streak, which is fine. But I still think, again, you just don't have a whole lot left. I always talk about when I was a kid, when I was a Nebraska fan, 5, 6, 7 years old, I could, dial up internet and go and argue with people on message boards.
Mm-hmm.
I had legitimate arguments that Nebraska was the best program or would be within the next 5 years, or, could just really, put stat for stat with just about every program. We don't have any of those stats anymore.
No,
you just kind of acknowledge, they're not what they once were.
Yeah, when everybody's like, "Oh, your program sucks," it's just like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, but we used to be good.
But we used to be, and maybe we can get back to it.
Yeah. Oh,
controversial question: did Tom Osborne leave the program in too good of a spot?
I don't think so.
Did he set the bar too high?
What I always
he had too much success.
Yeah,
it was unnecessary. You didn't need 3 out of 4 years. You didn't need to only lose 3 games.
What is kind of strange, I've always thought that too. You work 25 years to get to the top, and then once you get to the top and you've been there for a few years, like, this is what all I worked for. What am I going for?
Yeah,
now
what?
Now what do I go for?
Just like, is Nick Saban leaving Alabama in too good of a spot? When he retires, whoever takes over next, is that too much?
Well, it's
still a lot of pressure.
It's not too good of a spot, but it is, like they always say, you don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy. You want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaces the guy.
Exactly.
So you're not compared to that guy. I'm sure whoever will Nick Saban's successor last 6 years in Tuscaloosa?
Ooh,
probably not.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Probably
but
not.
Unless it's Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah.
Which I still believe it will be.
It'll be Bill O'Brien. They're going to go take your guy.
That would be hilarious.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
I hope it's Bill O'Brien.
Yeah. Oh, we've got lots to talk about. We've got Matt Rule press clippings from earlier today, so we'll jump into that. Zach Edey was at least thought for a while to be transferring. Not true. He himself came out and said, my sources say no.
That is false.
Yeah. So that was kind of a fun part of this morning. But there are some other things going down. We'll give you some information about college basketball, NBA, and, of course, like we said, Matt Rule's press conference. That's coming up next year on the Ticket Water Cooler, 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealer are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online, HondaofLincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Provide quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with the fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always,
Early break with Zach and Jake.
That's the best part. They would have been for you in the national title, but they're not. That's too bad. You guys can wallow for them, and I'll just celebrate
right over here and say it's a great day to be a Nebraska
I'm
Cornhusker
just
fan.
amazed by that take. I'm amazed by
Oh, you
that.
can be all you want.
It ain't changing. I like
Nothing you
I
say is
like
going to
it.
change my stance
I like
on
it
this
'cause they're
game.
big.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Guys, when I first started with Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Barrel's 10-week challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to laugh like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Extreme Body Shaping.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball to watching Cinderella spring the upset in college basketball. And of course, luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check their lot for the 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Good luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCO. inc.com.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC is great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket and 951. 93.7 The Ticket. Yeah. Channel 951.
Channel 951 on Allo Cable.
We haven't found a great way to say and Channel 951.
We'll figure it. And Channel 951 on Allo Cable.
There you go.
We'll figure it
Sounds
out.
pretty good.
We'll get it.
We're on TV. We made it.
We made it. Mama made it. Hey, did you hear about the quarterback news?
No. Let me know.
2024 four-star quarterback, number 6 quarterback in the class of 2024, a top 70 player in the class. Jake Merklinger will be deciding on his collegiate choice on Thursday, the 30th of March. He's down to 4 schools: Michigan State, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia.
Oh, and Georgia. That's interesting.
He is a native of Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And 6'3", 200-pound quarterback out of Savannah, Georgia, going to decide where he's going to play college next. And if he decides to stay in state, stay home, and go to the Bulldogs of Georgia, then a certain other quarterback in that same class will have one less option.
That would be the weirdest day because that would be the biggest news in Nebraska when it has nothing.
And that has absolutely nothing to do with Nebraska.
Necessarily.
Now,
but the butterfly effect does.
Yes. Now, if he decides to go somewhere else, whatever.
Yeah.
But that could also mean something because that's an in-state quarterback. I know you had a stat after the national championship game that like the last 4 or 5 national championship quarterbacks are all from the state of Georgia.
Yeah, I think it was that there's been a state of Georgia quarterback in a championship game. I don't remember how long. Maybe it was like 6 years since 2017. Like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
and
like
Trevor
Deshaun,
Lawrence.
Trevor, Justin Fields, Stetson Bennett, like all those guys
Yeah.
have been in the national championship. So, yeah, just something to look forward to on the 30th of March.
That is something.
I don't have a time when he'll decide, but I do know that is when he will be deciding.
I thought it was kind of strange because I was trying to figure out your angle until you got to the end. I was like, oh, that's the guy. Okay.
Yep.
I was like, was he going to say in Nebraska? Because I didn't think that was going to be.
Yep, Jake Merklinger, Nebraska.
Coming out of nowhere. I would be quite surprised.
Georgia's telling him, you need to commit to Nebraska. Like, they never offered me. Like, well, I'll figure it out.
Well, speaking of that, this was a big recruiting weekend this past weekend. We know Dylan Raiola and others were in town. Coach Rule was asked, was that the biggest recruiting weekend that he's been involved in as a head coach? And we can get to that in a second as soon as I hit the right button here. So here was Matt Rule's response. He was up at the podium today. They did their practice earlier and then came back to the podium in a little bit. Here was Matt Rule on the big recruiting weekend.
Yeah, I think the thing that I had, I think the thing at even at Temple, like we had a lot of great players come through there because it was right in Philadelphia. Baylor was right in the middle of Texas. So I think we always had a lot of good players come through, but that was a really fine group that we had coming through this weekend, and really, really great families, really cool people. The thing that we don't do is we don't really recruit. We're not trying to talk slick. We're not trying to tell everybody, things that they want to hear. We very simply talk about our program, how we're going to do things, what we're built upon, and also our vision for each person and what it'll be like when they're here. So it's really transparent. It's not for everybody, but I think a lot of guys will find that they'll want to come to a place like this, come to Nebraska.
It's interesting. There's a lot of different approaches to take in recruiting. I always kind of felt like Bo Pelini was kind of this way. Wasn't necessarily going to beg at your feet and was going to just kind of tell you, the family atmosphere, and hopefully they can kind of fit in. I always kind of felt like Mike Riley was chasing after the big timers and probably telling them they were program changers. Scott Frost, I kind of felt was a little less that way, more confident in himself and his offense. And here's where we can kind of plug you in here. So there's always different approaches to it. One way or the other, Nebraska has pretty much among those guys always been kind of in the same type of position. I mean, we can get excited about class to class and it changes here on the results and all that, but there's still, like I usually say, Nebraska pretty much recruits itself to a top 25 class, not to belittle the work that they actually have to go out and do it. I mean, it's not, that I'm not completely saying that statement as a standalone, but this class certainly could be an exception to that and be something different that really puts Nebraska on the map. And so it's kind of an interesting approach to recruiting.
It could be a historic class for Nebraska, but listening to Matt Rule in terms of recruiting and the way that he talks about it, it doesn't seem like he's all that like flustered or like in a good way. Like he's not, pouring everything he has into just building this one class. He's still focused on being the head coach and also recruiting for the future of Nebraska. And that's kind of a welcome sight. I'm not saying that, that's what happened in the past, but kind of like what you mentioned with Mike Riley, they went all in on recruiting as far as to wearing t-shirts with recruits' names on them, which a very interesting strategy by a coaching staff. And like you said, kind of going after the bigger fish, the Calabrasca movement and all that stuff. This is a really interesting moment for Nebraska football, and depending on how this class shakes out, could be a historic one.
Well, and I'm interested to see, and we won't know this until next year, and who knows what the record will look like, but is Matt Rule a guy that can take Nebraska into that next stratosphere from, like I say, Nebraska kind of recruiting itself into the top 25, usually anywhere between 17th and 30th or whatever.
Yeah.
Is this kind of the standalone Dylan Raiola effect, where it's like if the number one quarterback goes somewhere, then you're interested.
Yeah.
Or if, this doesn't play out the way that we want it to, is he still able to land a couple of these top 100 kids, maybe a top 25 kid?
Are they legitimate recruiters, or is it pure recruiting that's going to do most of the heavy lifting?
Or like what's next year's class going to look like, if you don't have the number one kid along with it?
Well, because it's going to be hard. The number one, it just so happens that the number one recruit in this class has ties to Nebraska,
right,
which opens things up for the Huskers to, get in the living room, talk to them. And then that opens things up with the rest of the class, because as you said, the number one recruit wants to go somewhere. People want to find out why. Is this staff really that good at recruiting? Or is it, as you said, that butterfly effect where if the number one recruit's interested, I'm interested as well?
Another thing for practice today that I thought was good and worth noting is Anthony Grant is back at practice. Of course, he was the leading rusher last year, suspended for a few days from team activity. I believe he was there Saturday as well, so he's getting back into the practices. But here's Anthony Grant or Matt Rule talking about Anthony Grant and just the running back room in general.
Yeah. There's never a bad standing with me, right? Like, if you haven't done something or there's something that causes me to say, hey, you can't practice, it's real simple for me. Like if you have a pulled hamstring, you can't practice, doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means you can't practice. If something's happened like academically or socially or anything like that, and I say, hey, right now you can't practice, doesn't mean I don't love you, right? And I think that's one of the big things, that we want the guys to understand. Like we're gonna correct actions, but we always gonna love the guys. I love Anthony. It's an adjustment, man. He was here, he was somewhere else, and then he was here. I think he was somewhere else, then he was somewhere else, then he was here. It's a lot of different changes, and so he's getting used to us. But he's a wonderful, wonderful person. So he's obviously a little bit behind, and I'm not gonna not give those other guys the reps because I don't know what the rest of the Big Ten running back rooms look like, but we got a pretty good running back room now. Gabe Irvin's doing some really, 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 really powerful, good things, and AJ Allen's hitting some big, big runs, and so we have a good running back room. We talked about Ramir, we talked about Anthony, Trevin Lubin does a great job for us. So I'm forgetting one person. Emmett. Emmett's you can see the point guard in Emmett, right? Like he's a ball carrier. So I think actually a couple of you guys I was staying on the sideline with, I talked about how much I liked Emmett. So we got a good room.
Yeah, it is. It's certainly, you talk about too, inheriting. What do you inherit on the roster? And this running back room is quite something. He's talked about, not knowing what some of the other Big Ten teams have. There's still, it's good competition. It's the Big Ten. Ohio State, Penn State, backs. Wisconsin. These are good running back rooms too. So Nebraska's probably still looking up at those. But as far as depth, you kind of wonder about kind of somebody's 4 deep. You talk about a 2 deep often, but a 4 deep that Nebraska's has, and it's going to be a battle to get those carries. I think with the amount that Nebraska is talking about running the ball, there will be a little bit more ball to go around as opposed to last year. But I thought that was one of the more intriguing things about last year too, is Anthony Grant, especially early on in the season, having a really good season. And people were saying, well, he needs to get the ball more. We're going to see him get the ball more. Yeah. And so I don't think that I think at least for now, the days are gone where you're going to see your leading ball carrier have 13 carries, unless it's a blowout and you beat somebody by
you get somebody else in there.
Yeah. And
if he's got 13 carries for like 112 yards or something like that. Something crazy like that, where it's just everything just kind of works out in one way, and you're up by enough. It's like, all right, we got to get somebody else in there.
Yeah.
You've done enough. We don't want to get you hurt. 13 carries is enough for you today. I get that. And like you said, kind of like a 4 deep. You have 3 guys on your current roster at running back that started the season as your starter in Gabe Irvin. I guess Ramir Johnson didn't start, but were your starter at some point during the season. Gabe Irvin, Ramir Johnson, and Anthony Grant. You have a guy who has all the talent in the world in AJ Allen, and then you have some guys behind them who you feel extremely good about, or otherwise you wouldn't have them on your roster. So it's a very interesting position to have all of that depth in. And as you said, if they truly are dedicated to running the ball as much as they say they are, it's going to be, I'm interested to see if they go with the workhorse back approach or if they go with running back by committee, just because, bringing in fresh legs against a tired defense is always, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You would like to have that workhorse back, just a guy that if he's getting going, you kind of keep him in the game. And I'm sure they'll do that to a point, but fresh legs is never a bad thing. And to have that much depth in your running back room and that many fresh legs, I think that's really good going forward.
Well, and they talked too about today defensively. It's going to be a little bit more of that approach, not necessarily, okay, here's the 11 starters and these are the guys you're going to see on the field all the time. Because of the versatility of the defense, they talked about, trying to get up to, 20 guys out there rotating on a pretty regular basis. We'll see. I think with the running back room, again, you got to walk that fine line of, fresh legs can be a good thing, but also getting a running back just kind of into a groove can be a good thing too. So they're going to have to kind of walk that line. I don't know if it'll be a series here, a series there for those guys, as opposed to, all right, take a playoff, but it's still your series. We'll kind of see. And of course, they've got different strengths. Matt Rule's already talked about Gabe Ervin kind of being the grinded out guy in the fourth quarter. So maybe he does, gets 4 carries before the fourth quarter and then gets 12 in the fourth quarter. Ideally, you'd like to be able to grind the clock out there. So they've got different strengths to go for him too. But that is certainly a room. You talk about inheriting a good room. That is what he's done there. I will say this before, because we've seen it in the past, that can dissipate quickly. The Mike Riley inherited a really good defensive tackle room. And then before the next spring game, I believe the next spring game, Malik Collins and Vincent Valentine left early after an unspectacular junior seasons. Kevin Williams left the team and went to Michigan State because he was frustrated with the depth chart. I'm trying to think who else was on that. Who else was in there? But Greg McMullen left the team. He was kind of moved to a defensive end at that point. But my point is, he inherited quite a bit there on that defensive line and quickly dissipated.
And then it all went away.
Yeah, so you still got to make sure you're taking care of the guys, and you can feel it through his voice, kind of his talk there, even with Anthony Grant, is the love that's gonna shine through. Hopefully, that's gonna keep.
I think that's a great.
around.
I think that might be a part that's overlooked a little bit, is the fact that he's like, look, I still love you. It doesn't really matter. Outside of probably a couple of things, like, I still love you. If you're hurt, you can't practice. It's not that I don't love you. It's that it's that he does love you and that he's trying to look out for you. If you're not getting things taken care of in the classroom, you can't practice. It's not that I don't love you. It's just that we have a standard that we want to uphold here, and you need to meet that standard before you can get out here and practice with your team. So I think that that's a very important part of that Matt Rule quote, is that he will always have love for the guys on his team.
Yeah.
And they know that, hopefully. I think.
Yeah. Or at least they're learning that. And, you can say that's one thing, but if you've only been around for a while, and if you're a guy, some of these guys, you think about that running back room in general. If you've been here 3 years, you've now had 3 different running back coaches. And, love can help, but if those guys aren't around from year to year, what does it all mean? But hopefully this obviously is establishing a new focus and a new team, a new group that will be here for years to come. At least that is the goal. That's the plan for now. There's more to talk about out of this. We'll bring in Nick Sainer to join us to get ready for the happy hour with the crossover. But there's gray jerseys out on the field. What's that all about? And a little update on the quarterbacks. Yeah, we've seen green and yellow and, of course, red, but now some gray jerseys.
Just a rainbow of colors.
What will we see next? Who really knows? But we'll talk about more Husker football practice and some college basketball news, as well as in the NBA and the NFL. Coming up next here on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
The Groom Room in Lincoln takes time out to salute America's military working dogs. Canines have served in the military for over 100 years, and they still serve today. Never forget the brave sacrifices these unsung heroes have made. For more information and ways to support military service dogs, go online and take K9K. This message is from Groom. We're brave. Visit thegroomroominc.com. Proud to support America's.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
One of the Nebraska Lottery's most explosively fun promotions is back. Cash Blast. Until April 18th. Buy a 2x2 ticket, enter the voucher number, and you could win $5,000 or $500. If your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket or a multiple of 7 ticket, your prize is double. There will be 7 weekly drawings and 14 total winners in Cash Blast. So play today. You'll have a blast. But that goes without saying. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000. Did you know when you play games from the Nebraska, are also supporting and even that's right. Since 1993, the Nebraska Lottery has raised more than $900 million for Nebraska's environment, educational opportunities, and state fair. So to everyone who plays, we say, the Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
If you're not sure what your evening plans are and want to change things up, look no further than Craft Axe Throwing. Whether for a date night, an evening with friends, or even a private party, you're sure to make memories at Craft Axe Throwing. Trained instructors help make things easy to understand, and a stock bar makes it a great hangout spot. With 13 throwing lanes, there's plenty of opportunity to serve your spot today. Choose the Lincoln location at craftaxethrowing.com to book a lane or call 402-802-9696. Craft Axe Throwing at 18th and N.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Skies will gradually clear, and by later this afternoon, we'll reach a high of around 53. Southwest winds at around 10 to 15. Overnight, partly cloudy with a low down to 27. Cooler air moving in for our Wednesday. We'll see a high of around 46. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Guys, when I first started with Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Barrel's 10-week challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket.
We are back here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Ticket Water Cooler. It's time for the crossover. So we're bringing Nick Sandard in the studio to talk a little bit of the sports news going around the nation. I did want to bring this up because I saw this too. I thought it was interesting. What would you risk for $1,500 worth of beer? Some college students down at LSU decided that they would break into Tiger Stadium and take beer. I don't know if they were already a little bit intoxicated. But in one way or the other, they did get caught because their getaway vehicle was a truck. They traced the truck back to the dorm or whatever. And so a 19-year-old ended up getting arrested. But that's a bold strategy to go to the stadium and try to steal the beer.
Yeah. That's
why you can't let Nebraska start selling beer.
Oh, that's why?
Susceptible to invasion.
That's beyond dumb.
Yeah. I mean, that's the place when you're a 19-year-old, that's where you're going to steal beer from.
Yeah.
Football stadium.
Well, they thought they drew up a perfect plan and it didn't work.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tiger Stadium, right? We're going to climb the fences. We're going to go to the concession stands, and all the beer's right there.
Yeah,
and then we just take it.
Take the cakes.
And then we just go away, and they'll never know. They'll never know.
I do wonder. I mean, I do sometimes wonder how well guarded stadiums are. Once you're in.
Oh yeah.
Like if you hop the fence, like there's going to be a guard stand. Like I don't see that happening.
I feel like there's security.
Maybe, but
there must not have been.
I don't think there's security. I think
there's like one person walking around.
I was gonna say I think there's like
maybe 2, 3 tops.
No, I think we believe they're a much stronger fortress than they actually are.
Well, no, so Nebraska's has all that stuff inside of it with the weight room and all that stuff. So there's definitely people there.
It definitely depends on the stadium.
No,
Nebraska,
there's a lot of key
probably
card
has some pretty
access.
good. Yeah.
No, I'm saying there's a lot of key card access there. But I feel like, I mean, you hop the fence, you could be chilling on the field.
Yeah. Well, it just depends. Like in Lawrence, when I went in the middle of the day, I walked right onto the field.
And that's exactly
there was
what I did
nobody
in
there.
Arkansas.
Yeah. There's certain stadiums
in
where
Fayetteville, I walked right in and I was just chilling at the 50-yard line.
That's what I'm saying. I think like some of those don't have like everything that Nebraska, all the the weight room and everything. I feel like some of those are just like like there's locker rooms obviously, and there's like all that other stuff, but there's not as much in it as Memorial has like connected to it. So some of them is just like the stadium.
Well,
I could be wrong.
Every place has trophies and things like that are key card access. I'm more talking about to just get in and start walking around. Like you can walk around like the little bit that is the concourse at Memorial Stadium if you get in. Like you get up in the like they close down the stairs to get out to the stadium. They close down. They have a little door over the opening and everything like that on the bleachers or in the stands. But like I think there's on what side is it? The southeast side where all the students go in. Like it's one gate. Now obviously I want to make it very clear. I've never attempted, never
we don't
tried
want
to
anybody
jump
to
over.
try any of this.
But like you get over that fence and you're just chilling in Memorial Stadium, and with it being so big, you can have that one guard going back to you, like around you, circulating the area. But like also, is he going to come up and be like, hey, what are you doing when you're just chilling on the field? Like,
yes.
I don't know.
If you're not supposed to be out there, yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Like, I've just walked in on the west side and just went up to the press box and there's just been somebody there, and you just kind of like act like you know what you're doing, and act like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And they don't people don't ask any questions.
Careful.
That's how crazy the world is. Have you ever noticed that you go in somewhere that you're not really supposed to be, but if you act like you're supposed to be there, nobody really messes with you.
It's a lot of places.
Yeah.
You just act like you're supposed to be there. You act like you know what you're doing. People are like, oh, obviously this person.
You don't look down. You look straight ahead. You just kind of look like
I've seen videos of people who go to like Walmart or Target and wear like whatever they're supposed to wear at those places, and they like walk in the back and just like take something, and they're just like, oh,
nobody asks.
Just wear a vest, one of those vests. Shiny vests.
Well, like Target, if you
nobody wants to talk to people.
If you wear now, it's a lot more lax, which is weird. But when I was there, it was a red shirt and you had to wear khakis. They switched it to jeans after a while, which was fantastic because khakis are dumb. But it was just a red shirt, khakis. If you do that, some people don't even have name tags, and you walk around like you know what you're doing, nobody's going to question you.
Yeah.
There are times where if you're just in there with a red shirt and khakis on it, and you're not working, Like if you're like, people are asking you questions, hey, where can I get this? Where can I get that? And you're like, I don't work here. I can't.
Well, that's the thing is like, no, seriously. So that's where I'm sitting here, like, if Memorial Stadium are just like, yeah, we're on a little a visit. Like,
Yeah.
If you're older, my son's on a visit, my daughter's on a visit. We're just touring the stadium.
Oh, okay. This person says just put a hard hat or just carry a ladder.
Yeah, no, nobody's going. Nobody asks anybody questions anymore. Nobody talks to people. And it's like you just give them a nice little wave from about 25 yards away. They're like, all right, sounds good. If they wouldn't have waved or if they wouldn't have made eye contact with me, that's when they're shady.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually engage on it and you're like, hey, how's it going? Nobody asks any questions.
But don't
They're
say
just
too
like,
much.
Yeah, so just keep it nice and simple.
If you really wanted to, I'm sure you could just hop a fence and get onto like the middle of the field at Memorial Stadium.
100%.
Like I'm sure you could.
100%. That's what I always love also about like now like during the football games, like regular season games, they have the super short fence where like the gate is where all the TV crews and all of us go on the sidelines and stuff. And they got like a guy guarding it. But I'm like, do you think it's like impossible to jump over this thing? Like I think I would be able to jump over it
with your hand on. Do you clear it without putting your hand on it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I gotta have some stabilizer.
You think you couldn't just like box jump over it?
No, absolutely not. I'd have to have
how high is
it?
it? How high is it?
It's probably higher. It's probably about this high.
Oh, that's
As a
an
chair.
easy box jump.
I cannot jump. I can't jump that high.
Nick, you kidding me?
It is about as high as a high chair, or not a high chair, but like a high. I guess
Clear that easy. Step over that. Clear that easy.
Yeah, but then you got that awkward like in between of when you got one leg on one side and one leg on the other side, and you got to use that momentum.
Just stand a little bit away. Just gather yourself and just two arms.
I'm just saying, like it always is funny when it's just like, the security are just like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Like I mean, you guys know this. I'll be at basketball games and I'll forget my media. So it happened when Strick was shooting the half court. I did not wear. That was the one game I came from something that I couldn't go home and get into a ticket T-shirt or a ticket pullover. I forgot my ass up in the media, and Strick was like, "Hey Nick, I want you to film me taking the half court shots at the halftime." And I was like, "All right, sounds good. I can do that." So I was gonna go down in there or go down and onto the floor, and I forgot my media pass, didn't have a T-shirt. It looked like just a general fan.
Yep.
And I was like, "Excuse me," and like he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And he like opens up the thing, and I'm
Well,
like,
were
I'm
you
like
right by
walking.
Strick or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was by myself. I was walking, and maybe I'm outing the security guards here, but I was walking.
They might have recognized you.
Maybe, but that doesn't happen very often. And then
He's got a very forgettable face.
I'm walking behind like Kemp Pavelka and all the TV crew and stuff like that, and a cop stops me and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Where are you headed?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna video Strick here." I was like, "I forgot my media pass." "Oh, okay, you're good. You can go wherever." I was like, "Really?" Technically, if you were doing your job, you would make me go back to my seats.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Maybe I mean, you're right. I mean, you can.
Maybe you've gotten so popular that
you can fake your way
that's
into
not,
getting stuff done.
Yeah, I think you just got to be confident.
You just got to fake it till you make it.
If I broke into Memorial Stadium, I'd turn on that red light.
The big red light.
I do wonder, like that guy, whoever turns it on and turns it off is just like, here we go.
Yes,
and they turn it on, and then it's all right, sayonara. And she turns it off.
I haven't seen it turn off. I always just see it.
It's always just on.
Yeah,
just a haunting red glow.
I just think, oh, recruits must be in town
for whenever Nebraska makes it back.
Yeah, or on Monday press conferences when we're up on the 6th floor and they're just playing Sirius on loop. And it's just like, and you like forget it's going on, and then about 15 minutes later you're like,
this
crap,
is still
going on. Like this is just still playing, and it's playing over just the speakers in the entire stadium, and you're like, you are making all of Lincoln hear Sirius on loop for about an hour and a half.
And everybody's hyped.
Everybody loves it. Yes. Do more of it.
I want Matt Rule to bring back Can You Feel It?
Can you feel
it? Is that what Creighton does before their games though? Or is that
a football tunnel walk?
Oh, okay.
Bring back Can You Feel It?
No.
They do it at basketball. It's electric at basketball. Bring back Can You
leave
Feel
that.
It?
Leave that with basketball then. Get a different thing.
People hate change.
People
Sometimes
do hate change.
is a good thing, especially
people
with
do
coaching
hate
staffs.
change. And
Hey, I just got an email from Iowa that they're having a Final Four watch party.
You want to go?
If you guys want to go to Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Yeah, that's a bit of a drive.
I want to go down to Dallas. I want to watch it. We looked up the all-inclusive ticket prices. What was it, like $2,265 per person? But it's like all-inclusive. Like you get the hotel, you get what was it, a 10-minute walk through the stadium.
You go to like the D2 and D3 games.
Yeah,
or something?
you get a ticket to the D2 and D3 games. Like
Wow.
it was a lot.
But on like StubHub, it's like $200.
Yeah,
just single ticket.
I'd go. Well, I'd want to be closer though, because I don't want to sit in Jerry World up in the nosebleeds to watch a basketball game.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay more than $200.
Here's what's interesting. So the Final Four watch party, Iowa Athletics will ask fans to sit on the east side of the arena so that they can see the jumbotron from the east side. So I'm guessing the jumbotron, it goes all four sides. It has a screen like Nebraska's does. They're only showing it on one side.
Why?
That's all it says.
Why don't you just show it on all of them?
Well, just to congregate people, probably. You don't want to have to clean up after.
Yeah,
the whole
well,
arena.
it's that, I guess. But then also when they show like, look at this watch party at Carver Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's a packed
Everybody's
house.
separated,
It's a
yeah.
packed house, but they don't even have the lights turned on one side.
So do you get Iowa emails?
Yeah, so it was weird.
What did you do?
Ever since I went to the Black Friday game,
yeah,
when I got the media pass, they sent that confirmation through my email that my pass was approved. And ever since then, I've gotten the Iowa media emails.
That's weird.
And I did not sign up for a list. I did not sign up for a mailing list. Well, I kind of want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
They haven't announced this Final Four watch party, but I know about it.
Well, now you just announced it.
They don't know. Nobody announced it. I just broke Iowa breaking news. Yeah. Yeah. So if Husker fans want to, bombard an Iowa watch party for the Final Four, feel free to. Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Ridiculous.
Doors open at 7:30. Tip off is 8:30.
You're ridiculous.
Which, by the way, the women's Final Four I prefer because there are 4 top 10 teams all in the Final Four.
Yeah, but
it's not a collection of random teams.
It's not random. Are you ready for this? Hold on. Are you ready for this? Parity in women's basketball is real. Okay, you ready? Hold on. Give me a second. Iowa's there for the first time since 1993.
Okay.
LSU's back for the first time in 15 years. Virginia Tech, this is their first time there.
But they're all top 10 teams.
Well, so that's
parity.
That's
a little bit
something
of parity.
I read in the Athletic, though. In all seriousness, I read this in the Athletic about how they were saying you in the entirety of college basketball, you have the best of both worlds this season. If you are a true, authentic college basketball fan, both men's and women's, and you find yourself maybe watching, obviously you might gravitate one way or the other, and whatever way that is, that's fine. But you have the men's, who is completely just absurd, right?
Ridiculous.
But then you have the women's playing out technically how it was supposed to be, with seeds and things like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. As much as Caitlin Clark may annoy a lot of Husker fans and, people that just watch women's college basketball, she has really grown her camp. Actually, we're going to talk about that in the next segment.
Okay. Is this more info you got from the Iowa Athletic Department?
Yes, actually it was. I got the email yesterday.
This guy, breaking news.
This isn't breaking news, but it shows NIL being used for good in a community when you are a player of her stature. And this can go for any player. It's not just women's college basketball.
Yeah. Quickly, some notes before we end the show. Jameer Young is set to return at Maryland. He is taking advantage of his last year there. Illinois losing Jaden Epps to the transfer portal. Mark Mad Dog Madsen looking like he's going to take over the Cal job from Utah Valley, who's currently in the NIT Final Four. So that's interesting. All right, that'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler Happy Hour coming up next year. Don't go anywhere on 93.7 The Ticket.
Most explosive fun promotions is back.